Government of Guyana clarifies cash grant eligibility and distribution measures. The Government of Guyana is excited to announce the rollout of a major cash grant initiative aimed at supporting households across the country. This program, designed to alleviate the pressures of rising living costs, particularly food prices, will provide each household with a grant of GYD $200,000. However, the public has raised several questions about the qualification criteria, and the government is pleased to provide further clarification. The grant is available to all households in Guyana, and based on prior experiences with similar programs, it is estimated that over 300,000 households will benefit. It is important to note that the grant is not limited to those with electricity bills or utility services. Households without electricity bills or formal utilities will still be eligible but will require an alternative form of verification. To facilitate the smooth distribution of the grant, the government is adopting a multi-layered verification process, ensuring that each household receives the grant in a transparent and accountable manner. The following steps are being taken. Verification via utility bills. Households with electricity meters will be part of the primary verification process. The current database includes approximately 240,000 households with meters, though it will be refined by removing commercial buildings and multiple meters under a single owner. Households using water or internet services may also qualify, and electricity bills are not the sole determining factor. Secondary verification for other households. Households without utility bills, such as those in rented spaces where the landlord pays for electricity, can still qualify for the grant. Verification methods may include rental contracts or other forms of proof. The government is also working with village councils in the hinterland and indigenous communities to ensure equitable access to the grant. Safeguarding against fraud. A key priority is preventing abuse of the system. The government is implementing safeguards to avoid fraudulent claims, such as individuals in the same household creating multiple rental contracts to access multiple grants. The measures will ensure that the grant is distributed fairly and that taxpayers' money is protected. Payment distribution. Payments will primarily be issued by check. In areas without banking services, alternative payment methods, such as cash, may be considered. For those with bank accounts, the government is exploring the possibility of direct deposits. While the grant program is set to begin immediately, the government is working to finalize the verification system to ensure every eligible household is reached. The process is expected to take up to 5 months, with efforts focused on accuracy, accountability, and preventing system abuse. The Audit Office will play a central role in overseeing the financial integrity of the program. This initiative is a significant step towards helping families across the country manage the rising cost of living and is part of the government's commitment to ensuring economic relief reaches all Guyanese.
A substantive initiative of the government of Ghana designed to help families and households. Some of the resources we are hoping would go towards addressing some of the issues that people have been raising, including changes in food prices and other cost of living related initiatives. However, people are free to utilize the money however they wish. It's their money. Now, clearly, this is for every household in Guyana. And so we estimate that you would have about over 300,000 households based on what happened in the past. It's even more than what the census figures show at this point in time. When we implemented the cash grant in the past, we found that within a single building, you may have several households. And so we want to reach all of the eligible households without people abusing the system. So we are working now to ensure that we have a near foolproof system where we can give each household the grant of $200,000 each, but do it in a manner that is transparent and verifiable. So we can use several methods to do this. We can, for example, use electricity bill. When we look at the database for those who have meters, it's about 240,000. Yesterday they verified that to me. About 240,000 with those who have meters and who have applied for a meter. So one would assume that out of those, you have to take out all the commercial buildings and then take out the meters that are owned by, might be multiple meters that are owned by a single individual. So you have to clean up that database, removing the owners of multiple meters and also the commercial buildings. That will take care of over 200,000 people. The hinterland, we would have another means to verify the households. Historically, we have used the village councils to verify the households in the Amerindian communities. So I presume we'll continue to use that system because that has been a reliable system. So that should take us to maybe about 260,000 primary households that we'd have a strong means of verifying. There would be another maybe 40,000 households which we consider secondary households that would be eligible. So even if you don't have an electricity bill, you are still eligible, but we'd have to find another method of verifying it. So that's what we're working on at this stage.
I know there's one person who lives alone in the space that they occupy. I mean, you said that there's going to be time to consider it because these will be secondary households. But someone who lives alone in a space, by themselves and so on.
No, but where does the person live? In a house?
A section of a house.
A section of a house. Does he pay the electricity bill?
No, landlord covers electricity.
The landlord. Well, then that person would be eligible to show I have a contract with the landlord and therefore I'm eligible. They bring their contract. So we're going to be watching for contracts too, because sometimes people would start creating multiple contracts in the same home, right? You know what happens. So the son gets a contract with the father, etc. It's not an easy thing to do, but we're looking at ways of verifying, but everyone is eligible. Electricity bill is not the only criterion to pay out the grant. I just wanted to emphasize that point because some people had that impression that it's only on the basis of your electricity bill that you would be receiving the cash grant. It's not true.
When the president made the announcement, he said immediately things are going to start. People want to know when.
So
immediately.
We want to get the system in place. So I anticipate that within the next 5 months, we will complete the process. Complete it. Because when you deal with large-scale tasks like this, remember every household in the country, and you're dealing with money, you better get it right. And so it will take about the whole exercise, should take on the outside. It could happen faster, but on the outer limit, it will take about 5 months, but everyone will get it. It's not as though they wouldn't get it, but we have to do it properly. And that is what we are trying to devise a system so that every eligible household can get it. And that they're not left out because of a flawed system. But at the same time, we have to safeguard taxpayers' money too, and not allow people to cheat the system. As I explained at my press conference, there's some people who set out to cheat the system. And so the method that we devise should minimize that happening, if not eliminate it completely.
And you've touched on the accountability in terms of the role of the audit office. And
No,
so
the
on.
audit office will be central to this, and we'd have to put in place in finance a team that is dedicated towards this, to the verification and the payment of the resources. The bulk of the payment will happen by checks, maybe in communities where they don't have access to banks, like in the hinterland. It may be another method, maybe use the cash method, but the bulk of the payment would be done by checks. Or maybe we're exploring paying directly into people's bank accounts, those who have bank accounts.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
So you're welcome.